right, let's play a little game. I say Vivaldi. What pops into your head? I'm guessing violins, right? Maybe some classical music you've heard in a movie? But listen, what if I told you that's just the trailer? We're about to get into the main feature, and trust me, it's an absolute blockbuster.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Four Seasons, of course. I mean, it's everywhere, right? Movie soundtracks, commercials, you literally can't escape it. But here's the thing, if that's the only Vivaldi you know, then you are seriously, seriously missing out on the real story. See, Vivaldi wasn't just some dude who was really into writing about winter. No way. This guy was a priest with bright red hair. He was a total musical innovator and, get this, basically the producer for one of the most legendary all-girl orchestras of the 18th century. So let's officially meet the man, Antonio Vivaldi. Back in Venice, everybody just called him the Red Priest. I mean, yeah, you can see why. But his recording studio, it was definitely not what you'd expect. Forget all the fancy modern gear. His studio was a place that would go on to change music history forever. He worked at this place called the Ospedale della Pietà. And, okay, on paper, it was an orphanage for girls. But in reality, it was basically the ultimate music academy. Seriously, think of it like a hit factory, just cranking out the most incredible musicians in all of Europe. And Vivaldi's job title? Well, it was everything. He was their teacher, their composer, their conductor, and their producer. He was writing all this amazing music specifically for these girls. And let's be clear, they weren't just students. They were total virtuosos, the pop stars of their time, for sure. And you know what? The setting for all of this could not have been more perfect. We're talking about Venice. And back then, Venice wasn't just about canals and gondolas. It was the world capital of music. It was the perfect stage for Vivaldi to drop his revolutionary new sound. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. The music scene there was wildly competitive. I'm talking about churches basically in a constant battle, like a musical sports league, all trying to one-up each other. The goal? Put on the most epic, mind-blowing performance to pull in the biggest crowds. And guess whose team was at the top of that league? You got it. Vivaldi's orchestra from the Ospedale. They were the ones to beat. His concerts became the hottest ticket in town. People would literally travel from all over Europe, not just to go to church, but to hear his latest sacred works. It was an absolute must-see event. So what was it? What made his music so special? Why was everyone so obsessed? Well, it's because he looked at the rule book for church music, and then he basically threw it out the window and wrote a new one from scratch. Okay, so before Vivaldi came along, a lot of church music was, pretty calm, maybe even a little, predictable. Then Vivaldi shows up and makes it sound like an opera. Suddenly it's packed with drama, explosive energy, and so much raw emotion. He literally brought the vibe of the concert hall right into the church. So let's break down his secret formula. I like to call it the Vivaldi remix method. First, he'd take a traditional sacred text. Step 2, he'd layer on these incredible operatic vocals. Step 3, he'd back it all up with a powerful, dynamic orchestra. And the final result? Church music that sounds like a massive, epic movie score. And don't think he was just a one-trick pony, not at all. His range was absolutely huge. Let's just check out a couple of his biggest hits to really see what I'm talking about. All right, first up, his Gloria. This piece is just pure celebration. It's an absolute banger. It hits you right away with these bright, shining trumpets and a massive, powerful choir. It's the kind of music that just feels like a huge party, Totally uplifting and powerful. But then he could just completely flip the script, take his Stabat Mater. This one is all about deep sorrow and grief. It's slow, it's dark, and it is just packed with emotion. The fact that he could go from a hype track like Gloria to something this profound, it just shows you how incredible his range really was. So yeah, the bottom line is he really did it all. He was writing these huge, epic works for a full choir and orchestra, but he also wrote these smaller, really intimate pieces designed to let a single superstar soloist just shine. No matter the occasion, no matter the mood, Vivaldi had a piece of music ready to go. But hold on, because here comes the craziest part of this whole story. After Vivaldi died, almost all of this amazing music, it just vanished. Poof. Gone.
For nearly 200 years, he was known as a one-hit wonder.
I'm not kidding. The Four Seasons survived, sure, but his huge collection of sacred masterpieces, it was just lost, forgotten, collecting dust in some old archives. Imagine if your favorite musician's entire catalog disappeared, except for that one famous song. That's what happened here.
I mean, just look at this timeline. He dies in 1741, and his music basically fades into obscurity. And then, crickets. For almost 200 years. It wasn't until the 1920s that a massive trove of his original manuscripts was found completely by accident in Italy. And just like that, Vivaldi was back in the game.
And listen, this wasn't just some small discovery. This was a total game changer. It made everyone realize he wasn't just the Four Seasons guy. No, he was one of the most important, most innovative composers of his entire time, period. Just how important was he? Well, maybe you've heard of this other guy, Johann Sebastian Bach? Yeah, that Bach was a huge fan. He actually studied Vivaldi's scores, he copied them, he arranged them, all to figure out his secrets. That's like your favorite producer today breaking down another producer's track to see how they made it. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Vivaldi was a true innovator, a revolutionary who took the traditional sound of sacred music and totally remixed it into something bold, dramatic, and completely unforgettable, something as exciting as any opera or big concert you could go to. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? If all of Vivaldi's musical treasures could stay hidden for 200 years, what other incredible masterpieces are still out there, just sitting in a dusty old archive somewhere, waiting for someone to find them and press play?